Hi there, it's Maria from Present Way Coaching. Today I'd like to share an exercise with you that's called Come Back to Now in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I love this exercise. It really helps me to, when I feel emotions or a little bit of anxiety about what's going on in the future, or when I just feel my mind is busy and noisy and it's not really productive thinking, or when I'm starting to notice my mood change and I don't really know why, there's no real reason for it. I love to use this exercise to bring me back into the now. It's about calming my mind, calming my nervous system, and bringing my senses and my awareness back into my body. And it really opens up our awareness, and it can just actually help those thoughts and feelings just to let them go and let them, they just basically will pass. So I'll run you through this exercise. It's an exercise I learnt through therapy, and I've learnt from a few different teachers, so it's commonly used, and it's not hairy or scary or woo-woo. It's a really, really simple exercise, so it can be used anywhere, anytime. Other than driving a car, I wouldn't recommend it then. Often I find myself, I'll use this exercise when I just find myself getting a little bit worried about nothing, a bit of noise, and I just think, oh, I just want to come back to now. So at the very first start, when I decide I want to do this exercise, I'm setting an intention that I want to actually be present. So there's an intention behind using this exercise. I want to use it. I want to come back into the now. So I'm going to run you through the steps, and then I'll discuss a little bit more of where it can actually take you over time and with practice. So what I want you to first do is, when you find yourself wanting to use it, just quiet your mind by taking a few deep breaths, just to calm yourself and center yourself. And you're making a decision, I'm going to do this now. So the very first, once we're there and we're just feeling a bit calmer and just taking a few breaths, I want you to name 5 things that you can see. So this involves looking around the room or wherever you are. You might be hanging out the washing, you might be watching television and feel sensations arise, or cooking dinner, and just stop and just have a look around you and just allow what's there. And rather than looking for things to see, just look around the room, and just those things that come into your awareness, you can start to name them. And you might, if you're in a room, you might say, oh, I see the ceiling fan, I can see the furniture, I can see, and on you go. And once you've named those 5 things, we then move on to naming 4 things you can hear. So you might hear the computer whirring, or the television going, or something in the next room, or the wind coming through the windows. It depends on obviously where you are. You might hear bird call. The next step is then to name 3 things you can feel. Then this can be any feelings. It can be wind on your skin, it can be the ground underneath your feet, or the feeling of the shoe around your foot. It could be the feeling of your hair on your neck, all sorts of things. It can be a sensation in your body. I feel a tightness in my chest, for example. The next step is to name 2 things that you can smell. The last 2 steps are a little bit harder, but just quietly sense what you can smell. It might be the fabric softener in your clothes, or if you're outdoors, you can often smell different things, something cooking, whatever it might be. And the last one is to name 1 thing you can taste. So you might be that you've brushed your teeth, or you've had a coffee, or something like that. That's the actual exercise, and afterwards you'll find you're just centered in the now. So what I wanted to talk about now, just really briefly, is where this takes you. So when I first started practicing this, I would be, okay, I can see orange paint, I can see a poster on the wall, I can see a tree outside the window, and I can see the bookshelf. And then I'd move, after 5, I'd just name the next 5. And it was very quick, and I just named things that came into my awareness very quickly. And that was fine. That's no dramas, that's what it is. And it did work to calm me down, but it felt a little bit like, oh, okay, just looking around, just feeling whatever. But as I started to practice this, and with time, all of a sudden it became more of a practice of allowing myself to notice so I allowed what was around me to to come into my awareness. So as I sat, I would say, oh, I can see the shadows of the light coming through the leaves of the tree and landing on the ground. I can see the fabric in my t-shirt. I can see the actual the stitches on my shirt, and it just, my depth of awareness grew. And as I practiced, I noticed that sometimes my senses changed. So I could see a feeling in my body, for example. I can see that I'm feeling something in my stomach. And I noticed also that I would hear, for example, a part of myself, my wounded child, for example, or my inner child wants to sit with me today and have a chat. So this depth of awareness grew. My awareness of what was around me grew. I noticed small things, I noticed big things. And rather than just sort of looking around me and naming all these things, I allowed the things around me to come into my awareness, and then I would name those. So I really hope you enjoy this practice as much as I do. Again, I use it when I sense a bit of anxiety and noise in my mind. I use it when I'm feeling ungrounded, and I use it sometimes before a meditation. If I'm doing a walking meditation or a meditation outdoors, I'll use it just to center myself and become really deeply present. So I really hope you enjoy it. If it's something that really works for you, great. If it's not, ditch it and grab the next tool. We just use what works with you. Sometimes these things work for a while, and sometimes then they're no longer really useful. But I do hope you enjoy it, and I do hope it brings you as much ability and strength to start to bring yourself into the present moment. Okay, see you later.